A poor black single mom texted a billionaire by mistake, asking money for baby food. What happened next? I had 73 cents in my bank account, a hungry 2-year-old, and no choice but to beg. So I texted Mrs. Chen asking to buy baby formula on credit, except I texted a billionaire by mistake. What he did next changed everything. Welcome to Emotional Voyage. I'm so glad you're here to share this journey with me. If this content resonates with you, please hit the like button and subscribe. Your support helps me create even deeper, more meaningful videos for our community. Let's navigate these emotions together. Shayna's hands shook as she stared at the last can of formula in her kitchen cabinet. 2 days until payday. 73 cents in her checking account. And Zoe needed to eat. She'd already called her cousin Brittany twice this week. Her friend Keisha had her own kids to feed. Her mama, God rest her soul, had been gone 6 months now, and some days the grief hit harder than others. This was one of those days. Shayna grabbed her phone and pulled up her text thread with Mrs. Chen from the corner market. The older woman had let her slide on payment before, just until Friday. Maybe she'd understand one more time. Mrs. Chen, it's Shayna. I know I still owe you from last week, but Zoe needs formula. Can I get 1 container? I get paid Friday. I promise I'm good for it. She hit send before she could overthink it, then slumped against the kitchen counter of her cramped North Charleston apartment. Through the thin walls, she could hear her neighbor's TV blaring. Zoe babbled happily in her playpen, unaware that her mama was drowning. The phone buzzed 30 seconds later. I think you have the wrong number, but I'd like to help. How much do you need? Shayna's stomach dropped. She checked the contact. The number was 1 digit off from Mrs. Chen's. Her face burned with embarrassment. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Wrong number. Please ignore that. The response came immediately. Don't apologize. I'm serious about helping. What do you need for your daughter? Shayna stared at the screen. This had to be some kind of scam. Nobody just offered money to strangers. But something about the message felt genuine. That's really kind, but I can't accept money from a stranger. I'll figure it out. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. What if we're not strangers? I'm Cameron. You're Shayna. Now we're acquainted. Your daughter's name is Zoe, and she needs formula. Let me help. Despite everything, Shayna felt a smile tug at her lips. This person, Cameron, had a point. Sort of. That's not how stranger danger works, but I appreciate it. Really? Then let's make it proper. Tell me which store, I'll have them set aside what you need. No strings. Just someone who can help someone who needs it. Shayna closed her eyes. Pride was expensive, and she'd learned that lesson the hard way over the past 2 years. Zoe came first. Always. Chen's Market on Rivers Avenue. 2 containers of Similac Sensitive. But I'm paying you back Friday. Deal. What's your Venmo? I'll send enough for formula plus groceries. Before you argue, I made more money in the time we've been texting than most people make in a month. Let me do this. The message was matter-of-fact, not boastful. Shayna bit her lip. Her nursing scrubs from the hospital laundry service hung over the bathroom door, waiting for tomorrow's shift. She worked hard. She wasn't a charity case. But Zoe's giggle echoed from the living room, and the decision made itself. At Shayna J. Collins. But seriously, I'm paying you back. Seriously, you're not. Just sent $500. Feed your baby. Feed yourself. Buy whatever you need. Shayna's phone chimed with the Venmo notification. $500. Her hands trembled as she opened the app. The transfer was real. The note said simply, "For Zoe. No payback required." See. She typed and deleted 4 different responses before settling on. I don't know what to say. Thank you doesn't feel like enough. Then don't say anything. But maybe, don't delete my number? I'd like to know that Zoe got her formula. Something warm unfurled in Shayna's chest, something she hadn't felt since before her mama died. Hope, maybe. Or just the kindness of a stranger who happened to be exactly what she needed when she needed it most. I won't delete it. And yes, I'll let you know. Thank you, Cameron. Really. You're welcome, Shayna. Really. She looked at Zoe, who'd pulled herself up on the playpen edge, brown eyes bright with toddler mischief. Her daughter deserved everything. Every opportunity, every chance, every good thing this world had to offer. And maybe, just maybe, that started with a wrong number on a humid spring evening in Charleston. Shayna grabbed her purse and Zoe's diaper bag. Chen's market closed at 8. She had 45 minutes. For the first time in months, she felt like she could breathe. What would you do if a stranger offered to help you in your lowest moment? Would you accept or refuse? Drop your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your perspective. Cameron sat in his home office overlooking Charleston Harbor, watching the sunset paint the water gold. The historic mansion had 17 rooms, but this was his favorite: floor-to-ceiling windows, custom mahogany shelves lined with first editions, and a view that never got old. He looked at his phone for the third time in 10 minutes. Pathetic, he muttered to himself, setting it face down on his desk. He had a conference call with Tokyo in an hour, 3 investment proposals to review, and a charity gala to prepare for. But all he could think about was whether Shayna had made it to the store. His phone buzzed. He grabbed it faster than he'd admit. Got the formula. Zoe's fed and happy. I also got groceries, real groceries. Fresh vegetables. Chicken. Things I haven't been able to afford in weeks. I cried in the cereal aisle. Thank you. The message came with a photo, a smiling toddler with her mother's warm brown eyes and ponytails that stuck up at odd angles, holding a bottle and grinning at the camera. Cameron felt something shift in his chest. He'd donated millions to causes over the years, written checks that changed lives, funded entire programs. But this felt different. Personal. Real. She's beautiful. I'm glad she's fed. How are you doing? He watched the 3 dots appear and disappear several times. Honestly, I'm overwhelmed. Nobody's done something like this for me since my mama passed. It's a lot. Good overwhelmed or bad overwhelmed? Good. Definitely good. Just unexpected. Cameron leaned back in his leather chair, considering his next words carefully. He'd learned long ago that money changed how people saw him. Some wanted it, some resented it, some got weird about it. But something about Shayna's messages felt uncomplicated. Real. Can I ask what you do? You mentioned Payday Friday. I work at Regional Medical's laundry service. It's not glamorous, but it's honest work. Good benefits for Zoe. What about you? Cameron smiled. Here it was, the moment where everything usually changed. I'm in venture capital. I invest in tech startups, do some philanthropy work. Not a lie. Just not the whole truth. He waited. That sounds important. Do you like it? Most days. I like helping people build things. What about you? Do you like your work? It pays the bills. Or tries to, anyway. But what I really love is being Zoe's mama. She's my whole world. The genuine affection in those words made Cameron ache for something he couldn't quite name. At 39, he'd built an empire, traveled the world, dated models and actresses and brilliant entrepreneurs. But he'd never had anyone look at him the way he imagined Shayna looked at her daughter, like he was someone's whole world. She's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. Even when she throws spaghetti at the wall and wakes up at 5 a.m. singing. She sings? Loudly. Off-key. It's the best sound in the world. Cameron found himself grinning at his phone like a teenager. His assistant Sarah knocked and poked her head in. Your call with Tokyo got moved up. 5 minutes. Thanks, Sarah. He looked back at his phone. I have to jump on a work call, but I enjoyed talking to you. Would it be okay if I checked in tomorrow? The dots took longer this time. You don't have to do that. You already helped more than you know. I know I don't have to. I want to. If that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Good. Talk tomorrow, Shayna. Talk tomorrow, Cameron. He set the phone down and pulled up the Tokyo video call, but his mind wandered. Sarah brought him coffee, the expensive single-origin beans he had shipped from Ethiopia, and he barely tasted it. After the call, he did something he never did. He Googled her. Shayna Collins, Charleston. Nothing came up except a sparse Facebook profile with privacy settings locked down. Good. She wasn't looking for a handout or trying to leverage their connection. His sister Claire called at 9. You're coming to the gala Friday, right? Please tell me you have a date this time. Mom's getting desperate to marry you off. I'll be there. Solo, as always. Cam, you're 39 years old and you live alone in a mansion that could house a family of 12. Don't you want someone to share it with? He thought about a woman in North Charleston who'd cried in a cereal aisle because she could finally afford vegetables. Maybe, he said quietly. Wait, what? Who is she? Nobody. Just, maybe you're right. I'm always right. Now tell me about this nobody who's got you sounding like a Hallmark movie. Cameron laughed. Good night, Claire. This isn't over. He hung up and looked at his phone one more time. Shayna had posted to her Instagram story, a private account, but she'd accepted his follow request an hour ago. The video showed Zoe dancing to music, her little body bouncing with pure joy. The caption read, "When Mama can finally buy the good snacks. Best day we've had in months." Cameron's chest tightened. $500. It had taken him less than 30 seconds to send, money he'd never miss. But for Shayna and Zoe, it was the best day in months. He opened a new text. That video of Zoe dancing just made my whole night. The response came quickly. She's showing off. I told her someone nice helped us today. I think she's saying thank you in toddler. Tell her she's welcome. And Shayna? Thank you for letting me help. It meant something to me too. Why? You don't even know us. Cameron stared at that question for a long time. Why did it mean something? Why couldn't he stop thinking about a woman he'd never met and her 2-year-old daughter? Maybe that's something we could fix. Would you want to meet for coffee sometime? Just to put a face to the number. He held his breath, watching the dots appear and disappear for 2 full minutes. I don't know if that's a good idea. Why not? Because you seem too good to be true, and I've learned that when something seems too good to be true, it usually is. Fair. Honest. Self-protective. Everything about her response made him want to know her more. I'm very real. I promise. And I'm just asking for coffee. Nothing scary. Public place, daytime, you can bring Zoe if that makes you more comfortable. Let me think about it. Of course. No pressure, Shayna. I mean that. Okay. Thank you. For everything. Good night, Cameron. Good night. He set the phone down and looked out at Charleston Harbor, where boats bobbed in the darkness and the historic homes glowed with warm light. Somewhere across town, in an apartment with thin walls and a happy 2-year-old, a woman was making him reconsider everything he thought he knew about connection. Cameron Hayes had bought companies, sold them for billions, reshaped entire industries. But he'd never felt this kind of anticipation before, the simple, terrifying hope that someone might say yes to coffee. Have you ever connected with someone in an unexpected way? What made you decide to take a chance on them? Share your story below. Shayna changed her outfit 4 times before settling on the first one. Dark jeans and a coral blouse that her mama had bought her for Christmas 2 years ago. The last Christmas before everything fell apart. You look pretty, Mama, Zoe said from the bed, surrounded by stuffed animals. Thank you, baby. Shayna checked her reflection one more time. She'd agreed to meet Cameron at a coffee shop in downtown Charleston, neutral territory, public, safe. Keisha had agreed to watch Zoe for 2 hours. Her phone buzzed with his text. Just got here. Take your time. No rush. She took a deep breath, kissed Zoe goodbye, and headed out. The drive downtown made her nervous. She didn't come to this part of Charleston often, the historic district with its rainbow row houses, cobblestone streets, and tourists everywhere. Her 10-year-old Honda felt out of place among the Mercedes and Teslas lining the street. She found parking 3 blocks away and walked to the coffee shop, her heart hammering. What was she doing? Meeting a stranger who'd sent her money? This was how Dateline episodes started. But then she remembered his texts. The genuine warmth. The way he'd asked about her, not just Zoe. The photo he'd sent last night of his own coffee mug with the caption "Cheers to new friends" after she'd shared her evening tea. The coffee shop was charming. Exposed brick, local art on the walls, the smell of fresh ground beans. And there, sitting at a corner table by the window, was a man who stood up the moment he saw her. Cameron Hayes was not what she'd expected. Tall, yes, maybe 6'2". Brown hair with just enough gray at the temples to make him distinguished. But it was his eyes that caught her, warm hazel, crinkled at the corners like. He smiled often. He wore dark jeans and a simple navy sweater, nothing flashy. If you'd told her he was a billionaire, she wouldn't have believed it. Shayna. His smile was genuine, a little nervous. That's me. She shook his extended hand, felt the warmth of it, the calluses that surprised her. I'm so glad you came. Please, sit. Can I get you something? Coffee, tea, one of those fancy lattes with 17 ingredients. She laughed despite her nerves. Just a regular coffee is fine. Cream. Sugar. Both, please. He went to the counter, and Shayna watched him interact with the barista. Friendly, polite, calling her by name. He came back with 2 coffees and a bag of pastries. I didn't know what you liked, so I got one of everything, he said sheepishly. The almond croissants here are incredible. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to. He sat down across from her, and for a moment they just looked at each other. This is weird, right? Shayna said finally. Meeting someone you've only texted? Completely weird, Cameron agreed. Good weird, though. I hope. Yeah, good weird. She took a sip of her coffee. It was perfect. So, venture capital. He grinned. So, hospital laundry services. You first. Cameron leaned back. Okay. Full disclosure, because I don't want to start whatever this is with anything less than honesty. I don't just work in venture capital. I sold my tech company 9 years ago for more money than anyone needs. Now I invest in startups, work with charities, and try to figure out what to do with a life that has no financial pressure. Shayna's coffee cup stopped halfway to her mouth. How much money are we talking? Enough that the $500 I sent you is what I make in about 90 seconds of interest. Her stomach dropped. Oh. Is that a bad oh? I don't know what kind of oh it is. She set her cup down carefully. Cameron, why are you here? With me. You could be having coffee with, I don't know, models or senators or whoever billionaires hang out with. Because models and senators don't send accidental texts asking for help buying formula, he said quietly. Because when I sent you that money, you didn't ask for more. You didn't suddenly need rent money or car repairs. You bought groceries and sent me a thank you. Do you know how rare that is? I'm not going to use you for money. I know. That's why I'm here. Shayna studied him. He seemed sincere, but then again, she'd thought Zoe's father was sincere too, right up until he walked out. Your turn, Cameron said. Tell me about you. Not the hard stuff. We can get to that later if you want. Tell me something good. Something good. Yeah. What makes Shayna Collins happy? She thought about it, surprised by the question. When was the last time someone had asked what made her happy? Zoe's laugh, she said finally. The real one, not the fake one she does for attention. When she belly laughs at something silly. And Saturday mornings when we don't have anywhere to be. We make pancakes and watch cartoons and stay in our pajamas until noon. She paused. That probably sounds boring to you. That sounds perfect. Cameron's expression was soft. What else? Music. I used to sing in my church choir before things got complicated. Gospel, mostly. My mama had the most beautiful voice. She could have gone professional if she'd wanted to. I got a little bit of that from her. Would you sing for me sometime? Maybe. She smiled. If you're lucky. What about you? What makes Cameron Hayes happy? He considered the question seriously. Honest answer? Not much lately. Work is fine, but it's not fulfilling anymore. I have friends, but most of them want something from me. My family's great, but they worry I'm wasting my life being alone. He met her eyes. The last few days, though. Texting with you. That's made me happy. Shayna's heart did something complicated in her chest. We barely know each other. So let's fix that. He pulled out his phone. 20 questions. Rapid fire. I'll start. Favorite color? Purple. Yours? Blue. Dogs or cats? Dogs, but I can't afford one. Beach or mountains? Beach. I live on the water. He grinned. Morning person or night owl? Night owl by nature, morning person by necessity. Zoe doesn't believe in sleeping past 6. Biggest fear. His smile faded slightly. Dying alone, having never really mattered to anyone. You. Something happening to Zoe. Not being enough for her. You're more than enough, Cameron said firmly. Trust me on that. They talked for 2 hours. Shayna learned that Cameron had grown up middle class in Charlotte, that he'd coded his first program at 14, that his father had been a high school math teacher and his mother a librarian. That he'd worked 3 jobs to put himself through college. That money hadn't made him happy, it had just made him comfortable. She told him about her mama, about growing up in North Charleston, about dropping out of community college when Diane got sick. About Zoe's father, briefly, and how she'd learned to trust her own strength when he left. I should go, Shayna said finally, checking her phone. Keisha's got Zoe, and I don't want to take advantage. Can I see you again? Cameron asked immediately. Not coffee this time. A real date. Dinner, maybe. Somewhere nice. I don't have anyone to watch Zoe for dinner. Then bring her. I'd love to meet her. Shayna hesitated. Letting a man meet her daughter was a big step. But something about Cameron felt safe. Genuine. Okay. But somewhere kid-friendly. She's 2, she throws food. Perfect. I know just the place. He stood when she did, walked her to her car 3 blocks away. At her Honda, he paused. Thank you for taking a chance on coffee with a stranger. Thank you for being worth the chance. She unlocked her door, then turned back. Cameron? Why me? Really? He was quiet for a moment. You know how most people go through life performing? Trying to be what they think others want to see. She nodded. You're not performing. You're just real. And I haven't met anyone real in a very long time. Shayna drove home with her heart racing, gospel music on the radio, and the taste of hope on her tongue. Her phone buzzed at a red light. Already looking forward to dinner. And meeting the famous Zoe. See. She smiled, typing back with one hand. She's going to love you. Fair warning, she's a tough critic. I'll bring my A game. Talk soon. Yeah, Shayna thought as she pulled into her apartment complex. This was definitely good weird. When meeting someone new, what matters more to you, their words or their actions? What green flags do you look for? Let me know in the comments. Cameron stood outside the casual seafood restaurant on Shem Creek, watching boats drift by in the evening light. He'd changed shirts 3 times, ridiculous for a man who'd pitched to fortune. 500 CEOs without breaking a sweat. But this felt more important than any business deal. He was about to meet Zoe. A Honda pulled into the parking lot, and his heart kicked up. Shayna stepped out wearing a yellow sundress that made her glow, then opened the back door to unbuckle a wiggly toddler. Zoe wore denim overalls and tiny white sneakers, her hair in 2 puffs with bright ribbons. When she spotted Cameron, she buried her face in Shayna's shoulder. "Sorry," Shayna said as she approached. "She's shy at first." "Don't apologize." "Hi, Zoe. I'm Cameron." He crouched down to her eye level, keeping his distance. "Your mama told me you're an excellent dancer." One brown eye peeked out at him. "She also said you like music. Is that true?" Zoe nodded, still half hidden. "Me too. Maybe after dinner, you can show me some of your moves." A small voice emerged. "Okay." Shayna mouthed thank you over her daughter's head, and Cameron felt 10 feet tall. The restaurant had outdoor seating overlooking the creek, and Cameron had specifically requested a table near the railing where Zoe could watch the boats. The hostess, who clearly recognized him despite his request for discretion, seated them quickly. "This place is beautiful," Shayna said, getting Zoe settled in a high chair. "I've driven past it 100 times but never came in." "Best she-crab soup in Charleston," Cameron said. "And they're great with kids." The owner's got 4 of his own. Zoe immediately grabbed a crayon from the kid's cup and started attacking the paper placemat. Cameron watched her, fascinated by the serious concentration on her little face. "What are you drawing?" he asked. "Fishies." She held up a scribble of blue and orange. "Those are excellent fishies. Very realistic." Zoe beamed at him, and just like that, the ice was broken. Dinner was chaos in the best way. Zoe threw exactly 3 French fries, sang the alphabet song twice, and demanded that Cameron help her color. Shayna apologized constantly until he finally caught her hand across the table. "Stop apologizing. I'm having the best time I've had in months." "She's throwing food." "She's too. It's basically her job." He grinned as Zoe offered him a nibbled chicken finger. "Thank you, Zoe. That's very generous." "You share," Zoe said solemnly. "That's right, baby," Shayna said. "We share with friends." Cameron friend. Cameron felt something warm expand in his chest. "I'd love to be your friend, Zoe." "Okay." She went back to coloring, crisis averted. After dinner, they walked along the creek path. Zoe held both their hands, demanding to be swung every few steps. Cameron had never done this before, the casual family thing, the toddler entertainment, the easy rhythm of it. But with Shayna laughing beside him and Zoe shrieking with joy, it felt natural. They stopped to watch boats come in from the evening fishing charters. Zoe pressed her face against the railing, enchanted. "She loves the water," Shayna said quietly. "I keep thinking when she's older, I'll save up for swimming lessons. Every kid should know how to swim." Cameron made a mental note. "My sister's kids do lessons at the aquatic center downtown. They have scholarships if," he caught himself. "Sorry. I'm not trying to solve all your problems." "No, it's thoughtful." Shayna tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "I'm still getting used to someone caring about the details." "I care about a lot of details where you two are concerned." She looked at him then, really looked at him, and Cameron felt the weight of that gaze. Trust was building, slowly, carefully. Zoe tugged on his pant leg. "Ice cream." "Zoe." Shayna's eyes widened. "We don't ask people for things." "Actually," Cameron said, "I was just thinking ice cream sounded perfect. There's a place down the street." "My treat." "Cameron, you paid for dinner. And I'd like to pay for ice cream. Please, Shayna. Let me." She hesitated, then nodded. "Okay. But nothing too big. She'll be up all night on a sugar high." The ice cream shop was packed with families. Cameron ordered butter pecan for himself, strawberry for Shayna, and a kid's cup of vanilla for Zoe. They sat outside on a bench, watching tourists wander past art galleries and souvenir shops. Zoe ate half her ice cream and wore the other half. When she started nodding off, Shayna lifted her into her lap. "This was really nice," she said softly, stroking Zoe's back. "Thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of it." Cameron watched the way Shayna held her daughter. Protective, tender, completely natural. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. What happened with Zoe's father?" "You don't have to answer if you don't want to talk about it." Shayna was quiet for a long moment. "His name was Derek. We dated for 8 months. When I got pregnant, he said all the right things at first. Then my mama got sick and things got hard, and he just couldn't handle it. Left 2 weeks before Zoe was born. I haven't heard from him since." "I'm sorry." "I'm not." She looked down at Zoe, sleeping peacefully. "If he'd stayed, it would have been out of obligation. She deserves better than that. We both do." "You deserve someone who chooses you every single day," Cameron said. "Both of you." Shayna met his eyes. "Is that what you're doing? Choosing us?" "I'd like to. If you'll let me." "Cameron, I come with a lot of complications. A toddler, a full-time job, no money, no fancy education. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in North Charleston. I'm not your world." "Maybe I'm tired of my world," he said quietly. "Maybe I want something real instead." "This is real. Too real. You need to understand what you're signing up for. Zoe comes first. Always. I don't have the luxury of casual dating or taking things slow. If this goes somewhere, you're not just getting me, you're getting a 2-year-old who needs stability." "I understand that. Do you?" Shayna's voice was gentle but firm. "Because in my experience, men say they understand until it gets inconvenient. Until the crying at 3 a.m. gets old, or the lack of spontaneity feels suffocating, or they realize dating a single mom means you're never the priority." Cameron leaned forward. "Shayna, I built a billion-dollar company. I've worked 100-hour weeks, slept on office floors, sacrificed everything for success. And you know what I learned? None of it means anything if you don't have someone to share it with." He glanced at Zoe. "Someone who matters. People who make you want to be better. We barely know each other. Then let's change that. No pressure, no expectations. Just, let me be part of your life. However you're comfortable with." Shayna studied him for a long moment. Zoe shifted in her sleep, and she adjusted her hold automatically. Muscle memory. "Okay," she said finally. "But slow. And honest. If this gets too complicated or you change your mind, you have to tell me. I can't have Zoe getting attached to someone who's going to disappear." "I'm not going anywhere," Cameron said. "I promise." They walked back to the parking lot, Zoe heavy and sleeping against Shayna's shoulder. Cameron helped buckle her into the car seat, his hands clumsy but careful. "I'll text you tomorrow," he asked as Shayna opened the driver's door. "I'd like that." He stepped back, watched them drive away. His phone buzzed before they'd even left the parking lot. "Zoe fell back asleep before we hit the main road. I think you wore her out. She had the best time." "What about her mom? Did she have a good time?" The response took a minute. "Yeah. Her mom had a really good time." Cameron walked to his car, a Mercedes he suddenly felt self-conscious about, and drove back to his empty mansion overlooking the harbor. But it didn't feel like a victory tonight. It felt lonely. He pulled out his laptop and started researching swimming lessons, scholarship programs, pediatric charities in Charleston. Then he stopped himself. This wasn't about fixing Shayna's problems with money. This was about showing up. Being present. Earning trust. His phone buzzed again. A photo, Zoe in her crib, clutching a stuffed dolphin, completely knocked out. The caption, "Thank you for tonight. For real." He saved the photo, then typed back. "Thank you for letting me in. Sleep well, both of you. See." Cameron sat in his office overlooking the dark water and realized something had shifted. For the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about the next deal, the next investment, the next achievement. He was thinking about a woman in a one-bedroom apartment and her 2-year-old daughter. And he was thinking about how to become the kind of man who deserved them. What's more important when dating someone with kids, connecting with the child or the parent first? How would you handle this situation? Share your thoughts below. 3 weeks passed like a dream Shayna kept expecting to wake up from. Cameron texted every morning, nothing elaborate, just good morning or hope you and Zoe have a great day. He asked about her shifts at the hospital, remembered details she'd mentioned in passing, sent funny memes that made her laugh during her lunch breaks. They'd seen each other 5 times. Twice for coffee while Keisha watched Zoe. Once at the aquarium with Zoe, where Cameron had carried her on his shoulders for 2 hours without complaint. A picnic at Waterfront Park where Zoe had chased pigeons and Cameron had chased Zoe. And yesterday, unexpectedly, he'd shown up at her apartment with dinner after her double shift. You didn't have to do this, Shayna had said, stunned to find him at her door with bags from her favorite Thai place. I know. I wanted to. You worked 14 hours. Let someone take care of you for once. He'd sat on her worn couch, eaten pad thai from containers, and played blocks with Zoe while Shayna took her first relaxing breath in days. When Zoe fell asleep, they'd talked until midnight, about his childhood in Charlotte, her dreams of finishing her nursing degree someday, the complicated grief of losing her mother. Now, Saturday afternoon, Shayna stood in front of her bathroom mirror getting ready for what Cameron had called a proper date. Just the two of us. Keisha had volunteered to keep Zoe overnight, insisting that Shayna deserved a night off from mama duty. Her phone rang. Cameron's name lit up the screen, and her stomach did that fluttery thing it had been doing a lot lately. Hey, she answered. Hey yourself. I'm outside. No rush, but I wanted to let you know I'm here. Shayna looked out the window. A Mercedes sat in the parking lot, and Cameron leaned against it wearing dark slacks and a white button-down with the sleeves rolled up. He looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine. You could have come up. I know. But I wanted to do this right, pick you up at the door like a real date. 5 minutes later, Shayna locked her apartment and found Cameron waiting at the bottom of the stairs with a single yellow rose. Yellow like your dress last time, he said, handing it to her. You looked beautiful in yellow. You're really good at this, she said, accepting the flower. At what? Making me feel like I matter. His expression softened. Shayna, you do matter. To me, you really matter. The restaurant was on the water, white tablecloths, candles, a jazz trio playing in the corner. The hostess greeted Cameron by name, and Shayna caught the looks from other diners. This was his world, expensive wine, impeccable service, the kind of place where entrees cost more than her weekly grocery budget. Is this too much? Cameron asked quietly, noticing her tension. I can take you somewhere else. I just wanted you to feel special. No, it's beautiful. I'm just underdressed. You're perfect. He pulled out her chair. You could show up in scrubs and you'd still be the most beautiful woman here. Dinner was incredible. She ordered the salmon, he got the steak, and they shared a chocolate dessert that tasted like heaven. But the best part was the conversation. Cameron asked questions and actually listened to the answers. He laughed at her stories about Zoe's latest antics. He told her about his sister's kids, about missing his parents in Charlotte, about feeling disconnected from his own success. Can I tell you something? He said over coffee. Something I haven't told anyone? Of course. I've been lonely for years. Even before I sold the company. Maybe especially after. He turned his cup in circles. Money changes everything. Suddenly everyone wants something, a donation, an investment, an introduction. I stopped being Cameron and became a dollar sign. I don't see you that way. I know. That's why I can't stop thinking about you. Shayna's breath caught. Cameron. I know it's fast. I know we've only known each other a few weeks. But I need you to know that this isn't casual for me. You and Zoe, you've woken something up that I thought was dead. What if you're romanticizing us? She asked quietly. What if the novelty wears off and you realize we're just regular people with regular problems? What if I want regular? He reached across the table, taking her hand. What if I'm tired of extraordinary and empty? Shayna looked at their joined hands, his tanned and strong, hers darker and marked with calluses from work. They shouldn't fit, but they did. I'm scared, she admitted. Of what? Of this. Of you. Of how much I'm starting to care. She met his eyes. Derek left, and it almost broke me. If I let you in, really let you in, and you leave too. I'm not Derek. I know. But you're also a billionaire who lives in a mansion, and I'm a laundry worker who lives in a one-bedroom apartment. That gap doesn't just disappear because we have chemistry. Cameron squeezed her hand. You're right. It doesn't. But maybe we don't need it to disappear. Maybe we just need to be honest about it and figure it out together. After dinner, they walked along the Battery, where historic homes faced the harbor and palmetto trees swayed in the breeze. The night was warm, humid, perfect. Tell me something you've never told anyone, Cameron said. Shayna thought about it. Sometimes I resent Zoe. Just for a second, when I'm exhausted or broke or scared. And then I feel terrible because she's the best thing that ever happened to me. That doesn't make you a bad mother. It makes you human. Your turn. He was quiet for a moment. I'm terrified I'll never be enough for you. That eventually you'll realize I don't know how to be what you need. Cameron, you showed up with dinner after my double shift. You carried my daughter around the aquarium for 2 hours. You text me good morning every single day. She stopped walking, turned to face him. You're already more than enough. They stood there on the path, the harbor breeze lifting Shayna's hair, the city lights glowing around them. Cameron lifted his hand, tucked a strand behind her ear, his fingers lingering on her cheek. I really want to kiss you right now, he said softly. Then why aren't you? He smiled, leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. But Shayna didn't want to pull away. She wanted this, wanted him, wanted to stop being scared for just one moment. Their lips met, gentle at first, then deeper. Cameron's hand cupped her face, and Shayna's fingers gripped his shirt, pulling him closer. He tasted like coffee and chocolate and promise. The kiss was sweet and searching, and when they finally pulled apart, Shayna was breathless. Wow, she whispered. Yeah. Cameron rested his forehead against hers. Wow. They walked back to his car hand in hand, neither wanting the night to end. He drove her home, parked in front of her building, and walked her to her door like a gentleman from another era. Thank you for tonight, Shayna said. For all of it. Thank you for taking a chance on me. He kissed her again, softer this time, tender. Can I see you tomorrow? Maybe take you and Zoe to brunch. She'd love that. Fair warning, she's cranky on Sunday mornings. I'll bring my patience and bribes in the form of pancakes. Shayna laughed, unlocked her door, then turned back. Cameron? I'm really glad I texted the wrong number. Best mistake either of us ever made, he said. She watched him drive away, then leaned against her closed door, touching her lips where his had been. Her phone buzzed. Already missing you. Sleep well. See. She smiled, typing back. Missing you too. See you tomorrow. Shayna got ready for bed in her tiny apartment, but it didn't feel so small tonight. Nothing felt small when Cameron was in her life. Everything felt expansive, possible, like the world had more room than she'd thought. She thought about that kiss, about the way he'd looked at her like she was precious. About how he'd admitted his fears and listened to hers. About how natural it felt to hold his hand. Maybe, just maybe, this could work. Her phone buzzed again. A photo, Cameron in his car, grinning like a teenager. Still thinking about that kiss. Fair warning, I plan to do that a lot more. If that's okay with you. Shayna bit her lip, typed back. More than okay. Highly encouraged, actually. Good. See you tomorrow, beautiful. See. She climbed into bed, hugging her pillow, feeling something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Real, tangible hope that maybe love didn't have to end in heartbreak. That maybe some men stayed. That maybe she deserved someone who chose her every single day. And maybe, just maybe, Cameron Hayes was that man. What's the most important quality you look for in a partner? Is it their actions, their words, or how they make you feel? Let me know your thoughts below. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday afternoon. Shayna was folding laundry in the hospital basement, her hands moving automatically through the endless piles of linens, when her supervisor Denise approached with a concerned expression. Shayna, can we talk in my office? Her stomach dropped. Those 6 words never meant anything good. In the cramped office, Denise sat behind her cluttered desk and sighed. Corporate's cutting hours again. I have to reduce everyone's schedules by 10 hours a week, effective next month. Shayna's world tilted. Denise, I can't afford that. I'm barely making it now. I know, honey. I'm sorry. I fought for you, but it's coming from above my head. 10 hours meant roughly $300 less per month. $300 that stood between keeping the lights on and falling behind. Between buying Zoe's formula and asking for help. Between independence and desperation. Is there any overtime available? Not right now. I'll let you know if something opens up. Shayna walked back to the laundry room in a daze. She pulled out her phone, stared at Cameron's last text. A photo of a funny sign he'd seen with the caption "Made me think of you," and felt something ugly twist in her chest. She couldn't tell him. He'd offer money immediately, and she'd accept because she had to, and then what? She'd become exactly what she swore she'd never be, dependent on a man's wallet. That night, Zoe was fussy. The air conditioning in the apartment had started making a grinding noise, and Shayna knew that meant an expensive repair she couldn't afford. She fed Zoe dinner, gave her a bath, read 3 books, and finally got her down at 9 o'clock. Her phone rang. Cameron. She almost didn't answer, but that felt cowardly. Hey, she said, trying to sound normal. Hey yourself. I've been thinking about you all day. How was work? Fine. Just tired. You okay? You sound off. I'm fine, Cameron. Just a long day. Silence on the other end. Then, Shayna, talk to me. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I'm just tired. Don't do that. Don't shut me out. She closed her eyes, leaning against the kitchen counter. I'm not shutting you out. I'm handling it. Handling what? It doesn't matter. It matters to me. Everything about you matters to me. And that was the problem, wasn't it? He cared, genuinely cared, and that made everything more complicated. My hours got cut, she said finally. 10 hours a week starting next month. I'll figure it out, but I need to sit with it for tonight. How much will that cost you? Cameron, don't. I'm not offering money. I'm asking a question. How much? About $300 a month. Okay. We can figure this out. Maybe I can help you find something part-time to supplement, or... I don't need you to fix this, she snapped, then immediately regretted her tone. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bite your head off. You're scared. I get it. Do you? The words came out sharper than intended. Because from where I'm sitting, $300 is nothing to you. You probably spend that on coffee. But for me, it's the difference between keeping my apartment and losing everything. Shayna. I can't be your charity project, Cameron. I can't wake up every day wondering if you're helping me because you care or because you feel sorry for me. That's not fair. Maybe not. But it's how I feel. The silence stretched between them, heavy with things unsaid. I care about you, Cameron said quietly. Not because I feel sorry for you. Because you're smart and strong and beautiful and you make me want to be better. The money has nothing to do with that. But it's always there, isn't it? This gap between us. I'll always be the one who needs help, and you'll always be the one who can give it. That's not how I see us. Then how do you see us? Really? Because I look at your life and my life, and I don't see how they fit together long term. Cameron was quiet for a long moment. Are you breaking up with me? No. I don't know. I just... She pressed her fingers to her eyes, fighting tears. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm scared, and I don't know how to do this. Do what? Let someone help me. Let myself need you. I've been on my own so long, Cameron. Since my mama died, it's been me and Zoe against the world. And now you're here, and you're wonderful, but what happens when you get tired of my problems? What happens to Zoe when you leave? I'm not leaving. You say that now. Shayna, look at me. We're on the phone. Then listen to me. Really listen. I know you've been hurt. I know Derek was an asshole who left when things got hard. But I'm not him. I'm here for the hard parts. That's when people need each other most. Shayna wiped her eyes. I want to believe that. So believe it. Trust me. It's not that simple. Why not? Because trusting people has cost me everything. The words burst out of her. My daddy left when I was 6. My mama died and left me alone. Derek abandoned us before Zoe was even born. Everyone I've ever trusted has left, Cameron. Everyone. She heard him take a shaky breath. I'm not everyone, he said. And I'm not asking you to trust me blindly. I'm asking you to give me a chance to prove I'm different. And if you're not? If 6 months from now you wake up and realize this is too hard? That's not going to happen. You can't promise that. You're right. I can't promise the future. But I can promise today. And tomorrow. And every day after that, I can wake up and choose you. Choose us. Isn't that what love is? Choosing someone every day. Shayna's breath caught. Love. She heard the smile in his voice. Yeah, love. I love you, Shayna. I'm in love with you. And I love Zoe. And I'm terrified you're going to push me away before I get the chance to show you how good we could be together. Tears streamed down her face now. Cameron. You don't have to say it back. I just need you to know that this is real for me. You're not a charity project or a phase or something I'm going to get bored with. You're the first real thing I've had in years, and I'm not walking away. I'm a mess, she whispered. You're human. And you're dealing with real problems, and that doesn't make you weak. It makes you brave. I don't feel brave. You're a single mom working full-time, raising an amazing kid, dealing with grief and financial stress and now hour cuts. And you're still standing. Still fighting. That's the definition of brave, Shayna. She sat down on her couch, phone pressed to her ear, and let herself cry. Really cry. For the first time since her mama's funeral. I'm scared to need you, she admitted. I know. But maybe needing people isn't weakness. Maybe it's just being human. What if I'm not enough for you? What if you realize you want someone from your world? Someone who fits. You fit perfectly. Right here. She could hear the emotion in his voice. In my heart. You fit there, Shayna. They sat in silence for a while, just breathing together through the phone. Can I come over? Cameron asked finally. I know it's late, but I need to see you. Zoe's asleep. I'll be quiet. I need to hold you. Please. 20 minutes later, there was a soft knock at her door. Shayna opened it to find Cameron standing there in jeans and a t-shirt, hair disheveled like he'd run his hands through it 100 times. He stepped inside, pulled her into his arms, and held her. Just held her while she cried against his chest, letting out weeks of stress and fear and loneliness. "I've got you," he murmured into her hair. "I've got you, and I'm not letting go." They moved to the couch, and Shayna curled into his side, his arms solid around her shoulders. "I do need help," she said quietly. "With the hours. With money. And I hate that I need it." "Okay. So let's figure it out together. Not me fixing your problems, us working as a team." "How?" "I don't know yet. But we'll find a way that feels right to both of us. Maybe I can help you look for a better job. Or maybe we can find a way for you to finish that nursing degree you mentioned. Something that gives you more control, more options." "That would take years. And money I don't have." "What if I invested in you? Not as charity, as an actual investment in someone I believe in. You pay me back when you're making nurse money, if that makes you feel better." Shayna pulled back to look at him. "You'd do that? In a heartbeat. Shayna, you're brilliant and capable. You just need an opportunity. Let me be that opportunity." "I don't know. Think about it. No pressure. But I want you to know that I see you as an equal partner, not someone I'm rescuing. You have so much to offer, and I want to help you reach your potential. Not because you need saving, but because you deserve every chance to succeed." She studied his face, the sincerity there, the affection, the fear that she might push him away. "I love you too," she whispered. His eyes widened. "What?" "I love you. I'm terrified and it's too fast and it might be a disaster, but I love you, Cameron Hayes." He kissed her then, deep and desperate and full of relief. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathing hard. "We're going to be okay," he said. "Whatever comes, we'll face it together." Shayna wanted to believe him. She needed to believe him. So for tonight, she did. Have you ever had to choose between pride and accepting help? How did you handle it? What would you do in Shayna's situation? Share your thoughts below. The next 3 weeks felt like walking on eggshells wrapped in sunshine. Cameron was attentive, patient, perfect. He took Shayna and Zoe to the beach, to parks, to Sunday brunch at places with crayons and kid menus. He texted constantly, called every night, showed up after her shifts with coffee and that smile that made her stomach flip. But something had shifted. Shayna felt it in the way she second-guessed every request, every need. When her car started making a weird noise, she didn't tell him. When Zoe needed new shoes because she'd outgrown her sneakers, Shayna stretched her budget instead of mentioning it. When the air conditioning finally died and her apartment became a sauna, she bought a cheap fan and told Cameron everything was fine. She was pulling away, and she knew it. But accepting his love felt like stepping off a cliff, and she wasn't sure there'd be solid ground at the bottom. On a humid Saturday afternoon, Cameron showed up unannounced. Shayna opened the door sweating, Zoe crying in the background, the fan doing absolutely nothing to combat the Charleston heat. "Jesus, Shayna, it's like 100 degrees in here." Cameron stepped inside, immediately assessing the situation. "What happened to your AC?" "It broke." "I'm handling it." "When?" "Last week." "Last week." His voice rose slightly. "And you didn't tell me?" "Because I knew you'd react exactly like this." "Like what?" "Like someone who cares that you and Zoe are living in an oven." Zoe's crying intensified. Shayna went to pick her up, feeling the heat radiating off her daughter's little body. "She's fine. We're fine." "She's not fine. Look at her. She's overheated." Cameron pulled out his phone. "I'm calling someone to fix this." "No, you're not." "Shayna." "I said no." Her voice came out sharper than intended. Zoe wailed louder, and Shayna bounced her, feeling frustration and helplessness crash over her. "I can't keep letting you fix everything, Cameron. I have to figure this out myself." "Why? Why do you have to suffer when I can help?" "Because this is my life. This is my reality. And when you're gone, I'll still be here dealing with broken air conditioners and not enough money, Except I'll have gotten used to someone else solving my problems. Cameron's face went hard. When I'm gone, we're back to this again. We never left it. Shayna set Zoe down in her playpen with some toys, trying to calm the toddler. Cameron, look around. This is who I am. This apartment, this life, these problems. And your mansion on the harbor, investment portfolios, and private jets. I don't have a private jet. You could buy one. That's the point. You live in a completely different universe than me. So what? We make it work. We love each other. Love doesn't pay for air conditioning. Love doesn't fix the gap between your world and mine. Cameron ran his hand through his hair, clearly fighting for patience. Then what do you want from me? Tell me what to do here, because I feel like I can't win. If I help, you resent me. If I don't help, I'm watching you suffer. What's the right answer? I don't know. The admission felt like defeat. I don't know how to do this, Cameron. I don't know how to be with someone who has everything when I have nothing. You don't have nothing. You have Zoe. You have your strength, your intelligence, your heart. Those things don't keep the lights on. Then let me help keep the lights on. Why is that so terrible? Because what happens when you decide this is too much work? Shayna's voice cracked. What happens when you meet someone easier? Someone who doesn't come with broken AC and money problems and a toddler? Someone from your world who actually fits. Cameron stepped closer, his voice low and intense. I don't want easy. I don't want my world. I want you. For now. But Cameron, you've been single for years by choice. You could have anyone. What happens when the novelty of playing house with the poor single mom wears off? She saw the words land like a punch. His jaw tightened. Is that really what you think this is? Me playing house? I think you like the idea of us more than you understand the reality. The reality is that I'm in love with you. The reality is I think about you and Zoe constantly. The reality is I want a future with you. He paused, and something vulnerable crossed his face. But I can't fight for us alone, Shayna. You have to meet me halfway. I'm trying. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, you're looking for reasons to push me away. You're building walls and waiting for me to leave so you can say, I told you so. The truth of that hit hard. That's not fair. Isn't it? Every time we get closer, you find a new reason why this won't work. My money, our different backgrounds, your fear I'll leave. At some point, you have to decide if you're going to trust me or not. Zoe had stopped crying and was watching them with wide, worried eyes. Shayna's heart broke a little more. Can we not do this in front of her? She said quietly. Cameron's expression softened. He crouched down by the playpen. Hey, Zoe Bear. You okay, sweetheart? Zoe reached for him, and Cameron picked her up despite the heat, holding her against his chest. The image of them together, her brown daughter in this white man's arms, both of them looking at Shayna with identical expressions of concern, made something crack open inside her. This was real. Cameron's love for Zoe was real. She could see it in every gentle touch, every patient moment, every time he showed up ready to be present for both of them. I'm sorry, Shayna whispered. Cameron looked at her over Zoe's head. For what? For being scared. For pushing you away. For not knowing how to accept good things when they happen. He carried Zoe over to Shayna, and they stood there in the sweltering apartment, a strange little family unit that didn't make sense on paper but somehow felt right. Let me call the AC guy, Cameron said gently. Not because you can't handle it, but because I care about you both and I don't want you to suffer when I can help. Please. Shayna wanted to argue. Pride demanded she refuse. But Zoe was hot and miserable, and sometimes being a good mother meant swallowing pride. Okay, she said. But I'm paying you back. We'll figure it out. He kissed her forehead. Together. like partners. The AC repair guy came within 2 hours, one of the perks of knowing Cameron Hayes. The unit needed replacing, which would have cost Shayna $3,000 she didn't have. Cameron handled it with a phone call while she bathed Zoe in lukewarm water. By evening, cool air flowed through the apartment. Zoe fell asleep early, exhausted from the heat and the tension. Cameron and Shayna sat on the couch in the blessed coolness, not quite touching. "My sister's having a charity gala next Saturday," Cameron said quietly. "I was supposed to go alone, but I'd really like you to come with me." Shayna's stomach tightened. "A gala?" "Yeah. It's for the children's hospital. Fancy dresses, cocktails, people with too much money trying to feel good about themselves." He smiled slightly. "I usually hate these things, but with you there, it might actually be bearable." "Cameron, I don't have anything to wear to something like that. And I don't know how to act around those people." "You'd be yourself. That's all I want. Myself doesn't exactly fit in at galas." He turned to face her fully. "This is what I'm talking about, Shayna. You keep putting yourself in a box labeled, not good enough, when you're more than enough. You're smart, beautiful, articulate. You belong anywhere I belong. I work in a hospital laundry room. So what? You think that makes you less valuable than some CEO's wife who's never worked a day in her life?" "That's not what I meant." "Then come with me. Let me show you off. Let me introduce you to my world." Shayna thought about walking into a room full of Charleston's elite, white faces, old money, people who'd never worried about formula or electricity bills. The thought terrified her. "What if I embarrass you?" Cameron's eyes flashed. "That's impossible. But you know what would embarrass me? Showing up alone again while my sister makes sad eyes at me all night. Listening to another lecture about how I need to settle down. Pretending to care about stock portfolios and yacht clubs when all I want to talk about is you." Despite everything, Shayna smiled. "You talk about me? Constantly. Claire's sick of hearing about you and Zoe. My parents ask about you every time we talk. You're already part of my life, Shayna. I want to make it official." "By parading me at a gala? By showing everyone that I'm completely gone for you? By making it clear that you're not just someone I'm dating, you're someone I'm serious about?" The weight of those words settled over her. Serious. Future. Real. "I need to think about it," she said. "Okay." He stood, and she felt the distance between them like a physical thing. "I should go. Let you get some rest. Cameron." He paused at the door, and when he looked at her, she saw something new in his eyes. Not anger exactly, but something close. Frustration. Hurt. "I love you," he said. "But I can't keep proving it while you wait for me to fail. At some point, you have to decide I'm worth the risk." Then he was gone, and Shayna sat in her cool apartment, listening to Zoe's soft breathing from the bedroom, and wondered if she was about to lose the best thing that had ever happened to her. Her phone buzzed. "I meant what I said. I love you. But I need you to love me back. All the way, not with one foot out the door. Think about the gala. Think about us. See." Shayna stared at the message until her eyes blurred with tears. The problem wasn't whether she loved him. She did. Desperately, terrifyingly, completely. The problem was whether she was brave enough to believe in that love. And right now, she honestly didn't know. When fear holds you back from love, how do you push through it? Is it fair to make someone prove themselves over and over? What advice would you give Shayna? Drop your thoughts below. Shayna didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the new AC hum, thinking about Cameron's face when he'd left. The hurt there. The frustration. The exhaustion of loving someone who kept pushing him away. At 6 a.m., Zoe crawled into bed with her, sticky hands patting her face. "Mama's sad." "No, baby. Mama's okay." "Cameron coming?" The question pierced her heart. I don't know, sweet pea. I miss Cameron. Me too, baby. Me too. Shayna called Keisha that afternoon while Zoe napped. He invited me to some fancy gala, she explained. With rich people and ball gowns and everything I'm not. So you said no, Keisha said flatly. I said I'd think about it. Which means no. Her friend sighed. Shay, I love you, but you're sabotaging this. I'm protecting myself. From what? From someone who actually loves you. Who shows up for Zoe. Who fixed your air conditioning without making you feel small about it. Keisha's voice gentled. Your mama didn't raise you to be scared, girl. She raised you to be strong. And sometimes being strong means letting people in. After they hung up, Shayna pulled out her laptop, a 5-year-old hand-me-down that barely worked. She Googled Charleston charity galas and found photos from last year's children's hospital event. Women in designer gowns. Men in custom tuxedos. The kind of people who summered in Martha's Vineyard and wintered in Aspen. The caption under one photo read, Tech mogul Cameron Hayes with date Amanda Worthington. Amanda Worthington looked like she'd stepped out of Vogue. Tall, blonde, elegant in a silver dress that probably cost more than Shayna's car. She had her hand on Cameron's arm, smiling at the camera with perfect teeth and perfect skin and probably a perfect life. Shayna slammed the laptop shut, feeling sick. That was his world. That was what he was used to. What was she thinking? Her phone rang. Cameron's name. She almost didn't answer. Hey, she said carefully. Hey. His voice was strained. Can we talk? In person. When? Now. I'm outside. Shayna looked out the window. The Mercedes sat in the parking lot, Cameron leaning against it in jeans and a navy Henley, looking tired. She went downstairs, leaving Zoe with her neighbor Miss Rosa for a few minutes. Hi, she said, approaching him. Hi. He didn't move to hug her, and the absence of that affection hurt. I've been thinking a lot since last night. Me too. I need to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. He ran his hand through his hair, that nervous gesture she'd come to recognize. I talked to my sister this morning. About us. Shayna's stomach dropped. Okay. She asked if I was bringing you to the gala. I said I'd asked but you weren't sure. And she said. He paused, jaw tight. She said maybe you weren't sure because you knew you didn't fit in my world. Cameron. Let me finish. I told her she was wrong. That you fit perfectly, that I loved you, that it didn't matter. And she said, then why hasn't she met Mom and Dad yet? Why are you hiding her? The words landed like stones. Are you hiding me? No. God, no. But. He looked away, toward the harbor in the distance. I haven't pushed you to meet them because I knew you'd be uncomfortable. Because I was trying to protect you from exactly the kind of judgment my sister just displayed. And that made me realize something. What? He turned back to her, and his eyes were bright with unshed tears. I've been trying so hard to make this easy for you that I've made it impossible for us. I've been tiptoeing around the money thing, around our differences, around everything that makes you uncomfortable. But Shayna, if we're going to work, you have to stop seeing yourself as less than me. I don't. You do. Every time you refuse help. Every time you apologize for your apartment or your job or not having fancy clothes. Every time you act like I'm doing you a favor by loving you. His voice cracked. You think I'm slumming it with the poor single mom? That I'm on some savior complex trip? I never said that. You didn't have to. It's in every hesitation, every time you pull away, every reason you find that we won't work. He stepped closer. I fell in love with you because you're real. Because you fight for your daughter. Because you're brilliant and strong and you make me laugh. Not because I feel sorry for you. Not because you need fixing. Because you're incredible exactly as you are. Tears streamed down Shayna's face. Then why does it feel like I'm always the one taking? You fixed my AC, you sent money for formula, you pay for everything. Because that's what people do when they love each other. They help. When my dad had his heart attack 3 years ago, my mom took care of him. When I was broke in college, my sister sent me grocery money from her waitressing job. Love isn't a transaction, Shayna. It's not keeping score. But it's always you giving and me taking. That's not true. His voice rose, and he took a breath, visibly calming himself. You gave me purpose, connection, a reason to come home at night. You made me feel like more than my bank account. Zoe gave me a chance to be someone's safe person. Do you have any idea how valuable that is? Shayna wiped her eyes. I'm scared, Cameron. I'm so scared. Of what? Tell me. Of losing myself. Of becoming dependent on you, and then having nothing when you leave. Of Zoe getting attached and, her voice broke. She already asks for you every day. What happens when you're not there anymore? I will be there. He grabbed her shoulders gently. When are you going to believe that? What do I have to do to prove I'm not going anywhere? I don't know. Yes, you do. You want me to fail. You're waiting for it. Because if I fail, you get to be right about men leaving. You get to protect yourself from being hurt again. His hands dropped. But Shayna, that's not love. That's fear. And I can't compete with your fear. The truth of it cut deep. So what are you saying? Cameron's face twisted with pain. I'm saying I love you more than I've ever loved anyone. I want to marry you someday. I want to adopt Zoe and give her my name. I want to wake up next to you for the rest of my life and build something real together. He paused, and when he spoke again, his voice was barely a whisper. But I can't do this alone. You have to want it too. All of it. Not halfway. Not with reservations. All the way. I do want it. Then come to the gala. Meet my family. Let me buy you a dress, and before you argue, it's not charity. It's a man wanting to see his girlfriend look beautiful at an event. Let yourself be loved, Shayna. Please. She stood there in the parking lot of her run-down apartment complex, looking at this man who'd given her everything and asking for so little in return, and felt the weight of the choice before her. Say yes, and risk everything. Say no, and lose him for sure. I saw photos, she admitted quietly. From last year's gala. You were with Amanda Worthington. Cameron's expression shifted to understanding. Amanda. Yeah. My sister set us up. We went on 3 dates, and I spent all 3 of them bored out of my mind. He stepped closer. She talked about herself constantly, knew nothing about my work, and thought poor people were poor because they didn't try hard enough. I never called her again. She's beautiful. She's empty. You're real. He cupped her face. Shayna, I don't want perfect. I don't want easy. I want you. Messy, complicated, beautiful you. But I need you to want me back without all these walls. What if I embarrass you? Impossible. What if your family doesn't like me? They'll love you. But even if they didn't, it wouldn't matter. I'm choosing you, Shayna. The question is whether you're choosing me. She looked into his eyes, those warm hazel eyes that had looked at her with nothing but affection since that first text. She thought about Zoe asking for him every day, about how safe she felt in his arms, about how he'd shown up again and again, proving himself. I'm terrified, she whispered. Me too. But maybe we can be terrified together. Okay. Okay. I'll go to the gala. I'll meet your family. I'll try to. She took a shaky breath. I'll try to be brave enough for this. Cameron pulled her into his arms, holding her so tight she could barely breathe. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Don't make me regret it, she said into his chest. I won't. I promise, Shayna. I won't. They stood there holding each other while the Charleston sun beat down and the world moved around them. When they finally pulled apart, Cameron kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. Saturday, he said. I'll pick you up at 6. Wear whatever makes you feel beautiful. I don't have anything. Then let's go shopping. Tomorrow. You, me, and Zoe. We'll make a day of it. Cameron. Please. Let me do this. Not because you need it, but because I want to see you in something that makes you feel as incredible as you are. Shayna thought about saying no, about arguing, about protecting her pride. But then she thought about what he'd said, about letting herself be loved. Okay, she said. Tomorrow. His smile could have lit up the whole city. That night, after Zoe was asleep, Shayna sat on her couch and let herself imagine it. Walking into that gala on Cameron's arm. Meeting his family. Being introduced as his girlfriend. Stepping fully into his world instead of hovering at the edges. The thought still terrified her. But maybe Keisha was right. Maybe her mama would have told her to be brave. Maybe love was worth the risk. Her phone buzzed. Thank you for saying yes to all of it. I know it's scary, but I've got you. Always. See. She typed back with shaking hands. I've got you too. Even when I'm scared. Especially then. That's all I needed to hear. Sleep well, beautiful. Tomorrow we find you a dress that makes every other woman in Charleston jealous. See. Shayna smiled despite her fear. Tomorrow. A new dress. A gala. Cameron's family. A leap into the unknown. But for the first time, she wasn't taking that leap alone. Have you ever had to choose between protecting yourself and taking a chance on love? What helped you make that decision? Share your story below. I'd love to hear it. The boutique on King Street had dresses in the window that didn't have price tags, which meant Shayna couldn't afford them. Cameron, this place looks expensive, she said as he held the door open. Zoe balanced on his hip. Don't look at prices today. Just find something that makes you feel beautiful. A saleswoman approached, mid-50s, perfectly coiffed, appraising Shayna with a look that made her skin crawl. Can I help you? The words were polite, but the tone wasn't. We're looking for a gown for Saturday's Children's Hospital Gala, Cameron said smoothly. The woman's demeanor shifted the moment she recognized him. Mr. Hayes. Of course. Right this way. She looked at Shayna again, this time with barely concealed curiosity. What size are you, dear? 10, Shayna said quietly. We'll see what we have. She disappeared into the back, and Shayna felt her stomach sink. This was a mistake. Hey. Cameron set Zoe down carefully. She's just doing her job. Ignore her attitude. Did you see the way she looked at me? I saw. And I don't care. You're here for you, not for her approval. The saleswoman returned with several dresses, all beautiful, all clearly expensive. Shayna tried on 6 before finding one that made her breath catch, a deep emerald gown with a fitted bodice and flowing skirt that moved like water. The color made her skin glow. She stepped out of the dressing room, and Cameron's face said everything. Shayna. His voice was reverent. You're stunning. Even Zoe clapped. Mama pretty. The saleswoman nodded approvingly. That's a wonderful choice. It's $3,200. Shayna's heart stopped. I'm sorry, what? $3,200. It's a designer piece. We'll take it, Cameron said. No. Shayna shook her head. Absolutely not. That's insane. Shayna. Cameron, that's more than my rent. I can find something else. There is nothing else. That dress was made for you. He turned to the saleswoman. We'll take it. And shoes to match. Size 8, right? He looked at Shayna. I can't let you spend that much money on a dress I'll wear once. Then wear it more than once. Wear it to every fancy event I drag you to for the rest of our lives. His eyes held hers. Please. Let me do this. The saleswoman was watching with barely concealed fascination. Shayna felt exposed, embarrassed, angry at herself for caring what this stranger thought. Can you give us a minute? Cameron asked the woman. She retreated with obvious reluctance. I know this is hard, Cameron said quietly. But you deserve beautiful things, Shayna. You deserve to walk into that gala feeling confident and gorgeous. Let me give you that. It's too much. It's not. Not to me. And not compared to what you've given me. Tears pricked her eyes. I haven't given you anything. You've given me everything that matters. He brushed a tear away with his thumb. Say yes to the dress. Please. She looked at herself in the three-way mirror. The woman staring back looked like she belonged in Cameron's world. Elegant. Beautiful. Confident. Everything Shayna didn't feel inside. Okay, she whispered. Yes to the dress. They left with the gown, matching shoes, and a clutch purse Shayna hadn't even argued about because she was too emotionally exhausted. Zoe fell asleep in her car seat on the drive back to Shayna's apartment. Thank you, Shayna said as Cameron pulled up. For everything. For being patient with me. Always. He kissed her softly. Saturday at 6. I'll pick you up. I'll be ready. But she wasn't ready for what came Friday afternoon. Shayna was at work, folding linens in the hospital basement, when her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Is this Shayna Collins? A woman's voice, cultured, cold. Yes. Who's this? My name is Patricia Hayes. Cameron's mother. Shayna's blood went cold. Oh. Hello, Mrs. Hayes. I'll be direct, Miss Collins. My son mentioned he's bringing you to the gala tomorrow, and I thought we should speak first. Okay. I've done some research on you. Single mother, works in hospital laundry, living in North Charleston. No college degree, significant debt. Is that accurate? Shayna's hand tightened on the phone. I'm sorry, but why are you asking me this? Because my son is a billionaire, and you're a woman with financial problems who conveniently entered his life asking for money. You can see how that looks. The words hit like a slap. It wasn't like that. I texted the wrong number. A likely story. Miss Collins, I know women like you. You see a wealthy, lonely man and you see a solution to your problems. But Cameron is my son, and I won't stand by while someone takes advantage of him. I'm not taking advantage. Aren't you? He's buying you expensive dresses, fixing your air conditioning, no doubt paying for dinners and outings. What exactly are you bringing to this relationship besides a child that isn't his and financial burden? Tears burned Shayna's eyes. I love him. Love. Patricia laughed, sharp and bitter. You love his wallet, dear. If Cameron was still the broke college student working 3 jobs, would you even look at him twice? That's not fair. Life isn't fair. But I'll make you an offer that is. $50,000 to walk away. Cash. No contact with Cameron again. Take it, solve your money problems, and let my son find someone appropriate. Shayna felt like she'd been punched. You're offering me money to leave him? I'm offering you a solution. Take it or don't, but know this, you will never fit into our world. Tomorrow night, you'll walk into that gala and everyone will see exactly what you are. A poor single mother who got lucky with a wrong number. You'll embarrass Cameron and yourself. Save everyone the trouble and take the money. No. Shayna's voice shook. I'm not leaving him. Then you're a fool. You think he'll really stay with you? Introduce you to business partners? Marry you? The moment he realizes how incompatible you are, he'll move on. And you'll be left with nothing. Cameron's not like that. Cameron is exactly like that. He gets obsessed with projects, charities, investments, causes. You're his current project. Once the novelty wears off, he'll discard you like all the others. At least with my offer, you'd walk away with something. Shayna ended the call with shaking hands. She made it through the rest of her shift on autopilot, her mind replaying every word. You'll never fit into our world. Everyone will see exactly what you are. His current project. By the time she picked up Zoe from daycare, she'd convinced herself Patricia was right. She texted Cameron that evening. We need to talk. Can you come over? He arrived 20 minutes later, concerned. What's wrong? Shayna had rehearsed this, but looking at his face made the words stick in her throat. Your mother called me today. His expression darkened. What did she say? That I'm taking advantage of you. That I'm a gold digger. That I'll embarrass you at the gala. She took a shaky breath. She offered me $50,000 to leave you. She did what? Cameron's voice was ice. Shayna, I'm so sorry. Was she right? The question burst out. Am I just a project to you? Something to fix until you get bored? No. God, no. How can you even ask that? Because she knew exactly what to say to make me doubt everything. And maybe she's right. Maybe I am out of my depth. Maybe you will realize I don't fit. Stop. Cameron grabbed her hands. My mother is a snob who's terrified I'll marry someone who doesn't come from old money. She's done this before with other women I've dated. It's not about you, it's about her need for control. But she's not wrong about us being from different worlds. I don't care about worlds, Shayna. I care about you. What about tomorrow? What if she's right and I embarrass you? You could never embarrass me. His voice softened. But if you don't want to go, we won't go. We can skip it. I'll tell my family to go to hell if that's what you need. Shayna pulled her hands away. That's the problem. You'd do that. You'd burn bridges with your family for me, and then what? You'd resent me. You'd realize what you gave up. I wouldn't. You would. Eventually. Maybe not now, but someday you'd wake up and realize your life was easier before me and Zoe. Before the complications and the drama and the mother who hates me. My mother doesn't hate you. She doesn't even know you. She knows enough. Shayna's voice rose. She knows I work in a laundry room and live paycheck to paycheck and have a kid from a man who abandoned us. She knows I'm not good enough for you. Don't you dare let her poison you against us. She's not poisoning me. She's telling me the truth I've been too scared to face. Tears streamed down Shayna's face. I don't belong in your world, Cameron. I never will. And I can't keep pretending that love is enough to bridge that gap. So what are you saying? His voice was deadly quiet. I'm saying maybe your mother's right. Maybe this was doomed from the start. You're breaking up with me. It wasn't a question. I'm saving us both from a bigger heartbreak down the line. Cameron stepped back like she'd struck him. No. You're running. Again. You're using my mother as an excuse to do what you've wanted to do all along. Push me away before I can hurt you. That's not. It is. And the hell of it is, I can't fight this, Shayna. I can't make you believe in us if you don't want to. I can't prove I'll stay if you won't give me the chance. Cameron. I love you. I love Zoe. I want to spend my life with you both. But I can't do it alone. His voice cracked. You have to want it too. And right now, I don't think you do. He walked to the door, and Shayna wanted to call him back. Wanted to take it all back. But the words wouldn't come. At the door, he turned. If you change your mind, if you decide you're brave enough to try, I'll be at that gala tomorrow. 6 o'clock. I'll wait for you. His eyes were bright with unshed tears. But I can't keep chasing you, Shayna. At some point, you have to run toward me too. Then he was gone. Shayna collapsed on her couch and sobbed, Great, heaving cries that brought Zoe running from her room. Mama? Mama's sad. Yeah, baby. Mama's very sad. Want Cameron? The question broke her all over again. Me too, sweet pea. Me too. That night, she lay in bed staring at the emerald dress hanging on her closet door, and wondered if she'd just made the biggest mistake of her life. When someone you love makes you choose between them and your fears, what do? Is it possible to love someone and still not be ready? What would you tell Shayna right now? Let me know in the comments. Shayna didn't sleep. She lay in bed replaying the conversation with Patricia, then the one with Cameron. The look on his face when she'd pushed him away. The way his voice had cracked when he said he couldn't keep chasing her. At 3 a.m., she gave up on sleep and made tea. The emerald dress hung on the closet door like an accusation. Her phone sat on the counter, silent. No texts from Cameron. No good morning message for the first time in weeks. She'd done this. She'd pushed him away, and now he was gone. At 7, Zoe woke up asking for Cameron. He's not coming today, baby. Why? How did you explain adult fears and self-sabotage to a 2-year-old? Mama made a mistake. Say sorry, Zoe said simply, with the uncomplicated wisdom of toddlers. It's not that easy, sweet pea. Why? Shayna didn't have an answer. At 9, Keisha called. Girl, you better not have done what I think you did. How did you? Cameron called me this morning. Asked me to check on you. Even after you broke his heart, he's still making sure you're okay. And you're really going to let that man go? Keisha, you didn't hear what his mother said. I don't care what she said. His mama's scared. Rich people do that. They protect their money and their status. But Cameron's a grown man who loves you. Why are you letting his mama make decisions for him? Because she's right. I don't fit in his world. So make him fit in yours. Love isn't about fitting perfectly, Shay. It's about choosing each other anyway. Keisha's voice softened. Your mama would be so disappointed right now. The words hit like a punch. That's not fair. Isn't it? Diane Collins was the bravest woman I knew. Raised you alone, worked 3 jobs, never complained. You think she'd want you running scared from a good man who loves you? Tears streamed down Shayna's face. I'm terrified, Kuish. I know, honey. But you gotta ask yourself, what's scarier? Taking a chance on Cameron, or spending the rest of your life wondering what if? After they hung up, Shayna pulled out her phone and scrolled through her photos. There was Cameron with Zoe on his shoulders at the aquarium. Cameron helping Zoe blow out birthday candles, a small celebration he'd insisted on even though her birthday wasn't for another week. Cameron asleep on her couch with Zoe curled on his chest, both of them peaceful. A man who showed up. Who stayed. Who loved her daughter like his own. She thought about her mama, about the day she'd died, holding Shayna's hand in that hospital bed. Don't be afraid to need people, baby girl, Diane had whispered. I was proud and stubborn, and it made me lonely. Don't make my mistakes. Shayna had promised. Then proceeded to make those exact mistakes. At noon, her phone rang. Unknown number. Her heart jumped. Maybe Cameron? Hello. Shayna? This is Claire Hayes. Cameron's sister. Shayna's stomach dropped. Hi. I heard about my mother's call. I'm mortified, and I want to apologize on her behalf. You don't have to. I do. She had no right. Claire paused. Can I tell you something about my brother? Okay. Cameron's dated a lot of women over the years. Models, CEOs, socialites. Women our mother approved of. And I watched him go through the motions with every single one. Polite, charming, disconnected. Like he was playing a role. She took a breath. Then he met you. And for the first time in years, he came alive. He talks about you constantly. About Zoe. About building a future. You made him remember what it feels like to want something real. Shayna's throat tightened. Why are you telling me this? Because he's at my house right now, heartbroken, trying to pretend he's fine. And I know my mother got in your head. She's good at that, making people feel small. But Shayna, you're not small. You're the woman who brought my brother back to life. Don't let her take that away. What if she's right though? What if I don't belong? Belonging isn't about money or status. It's about love. And my brother loves you more than I've ever seen him love anyone. Claire's voice caught. The gala's at 7 tonight. He'll be there at 6, waiting. Just in case. Please don't make him wait alone. After the call ended, Shayna stood in her tiny apartment and faced the truth she'd been running from. She loved Cameron Hayes. Completely. Desperately. In a way that terrified her because it was real. And maybe that was worth fighting for. She called Keisha. Can you watch Zoe tonight? You're going to the gala? Her friend squealed. Yes. I'll be there in an hour. Kuish, what if I get there and I still don't fit? What if? Then you'll fit anyway, because Cameron will be holding your hand. Now go get ready. You've got a man to win back. Shayna spent the afternoon preparing. She showered, did her makeup carefully, styled her hair in soft curls. When she slipped into the emerald dress, she barely recognized herself. The woman in the mirror looked confident. Beautiful. Like she belonged anywhere. Keisha arrived at 5:30 and whistled. Girl, you look incredible. I'm so nervous I might throw up. That's how you know it matters. Now go. And Shayna. Keisha hugged her tight. Be brave. For you, for Zoe, and for that man who's been waiting for you to believe in this. Shayna kissed Zoe goodbye, her baby girl who deserved to see her mama being brave. Where mama going? Mama's going to get Cameron back. Yay. Cameron coming home. The words pierced her heart. Home. That's what Cameron had become to both of them. She drove downtown with shaking hands, arrived at the venue at 6:15. The hotel was beautiful. Grand staircases, crystal chandeliers, people in tuxedos and gowns everywhere. Shayna almost turned around 3 times. But then she saw him. Cameron stood by the entrance in a black tuxedo, checking his phone, looking up every time the door opened. Waiting. He hadn't seen her yet. She could still leave, spare them both the awkwardness. No. No more running. Shayna took a deep breath and walked toward him. He looked up, and their eyes met. The expression on his face, shock, hope, desperate relief, made every fear worth facing. Shayna. Her name was a prayer on his lips. Hi. She stopped a few feet away, suddenly uncertain. I know I don't deserve. I shouldn't have. You came. He closed the distance between them. You actually came. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what I said, for pushing you away, for letting your mother. I don't care about any of that. His hands cupped her face. You're here. That's all that matters. I was so scared. I am so scared. But I'm more scared of losing you. Tears spilled over. I love you, Cameron. I love you so much it terrifies me. And I don't know if I'll ever fit perfectly in your world, but I want to try. If you'll still have me. He kissed her. Right there in the hotel entrance, in front of arriving guests and valet attendants, he kissed her like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathing hard. I'll always have you, he whispered against her lips. Always, Shayna. You and Zoe. You're my family now. Even though I'm a mess? Even though I panicked and ran? Especially then. Because you came back. You chose us. He rested his forehead against hers. That's all I needed, for you to choose us. I'm still scared. Me too. But we'll be scared together. He took her hand, lacing their fingers together, and led her toward the ballroom. At the entrance, Shayna hesitated. What if your mother will see that I'm in love with an incredible woman? And if she has a problem with that, it's her loss, not ours. They walked in together. The ballroom was stunning. Round tables with floral centerpieces, a live orchestra, Charleston's elite in all their finery. Shayna felt eyes turn toward them, heard the whispers. But Cameron's hand was solid in hers. They found Claire first, who pulled Shayna into a hug. You look absolutely stunning. I'm so glad you came. Cameron's father Robert approached next. Kind eyes, warm smile. So this is the woman my son can't stop talking about. It's wonderful to finally meet you, Shayna. You too, Mr. Hayes. Please, call me Robert. Any woman who can make my son smile like that is family. Then Patricia appeared. She looked Shayna up and down, her expression unreadable. The ballroom seemed to hold its breath. Mrs. Hayes, Shayna said quietly, lifting her chin. I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot. But I love your son. And I'm not going anywhere. Patricia's lips thinned. I see. Mom. Cameron's voice was steel. Shayna is my girlfriend. She's going to be part of this family. You can accept that gracefully, or you can make it difficult. But either way, it's happening. The silence stretched. Then Patricia surprised them both. The emerald is a good color on you, she said stiffly. Cameron, your father and I need to speak with you later. Privately. She walked away, and Shayna exhaled. That went better than expected, Claire said brightly. She didn't throw a drink. Progress. Cameron pulled Shayna close. You okay? I stood up to her. To all of them. Shayna looked around the ballroom. I'm more than okay. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of you too. He kissed her temple. Dance with me. They moved to the dance floor, and Cameron pulled her into his arms. The orchestra played something slow and romantic, and they swayed together like they were the only two people in the room. Thank you, Cameron murmured into her hair. For what? For being brave. For coming back. For choosing me. Thank you for waiting. For not giving up on us. Never. He pulled back to look at her. I meant what I said, Shayna. You and Zoe are my family. And someday, when you're ready, I want to make it official. Her heart stopped. Official. Marriage. Adoption. The whole thing. His eyes were serious. I want forever with you. No rush, no pressure. But I need you to know that's where I see this going. Shayna felt tears prick her eyes again. I want that too. I'm scared, but I want it. Then we'll take it one day at a time. Together. They danced until Shayna's feet hurt, ate dinner at a table with Cameron's friends who welcomed her warmly, and ignored the few disapproving looks from Charleston's old guard. At the end of the night, Cameron drove her home. In front of her apartment, he walked her to the door like always. Best night I've had in a long time, he said. Me too. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for not giving up on us. He kissed her softly. I love you, Shayna Collins. I love you too, Cameron Hayes. Inside, Keisha was asleep on the couch. Shayna checked on Zoe, peaceful in her crib, and changed out of the emerald dress. Her phone buzzed. Already missing you. Thank you for tonight. For everything. Sweet dreams, beautiful. See. She smiled, typing back. Thank you for waiting for me. For believing in us even when I didn't. I'm all in now. I promise. That's all I ever wanted. Sleep well. Tomorrow, let's take Zoe to the beach. Start building our forever. See. Shayna climbed into bed, exhausted but hopeful. She'd faced her fears. Stood up to Patricia. Chosen love over safety. And for the first time in her life, she believed it might actually work out. When have you had to fight for love, either fighting your own fears or fighting for the relationship? What gave you the courage? Share your story below. Sunday morning arrived bright and clear, perfect beach weather. Shayna woke to a text from Cameron. Picking you and Zoe up at 10. Bringing breakfast. Can't wait to see you both. See. She smiled, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. Last night had changed something fundamental. She'd stopped running, and the world hadn't ended. In fact, it had gotten better. Zoe was ecstatic when Shayna told her Cameron was coming. Cameron. Beach. Yay. She danced around the apartment in her pajamas. When Cameron arrived at 10 sharp, he had coffees, donuts, and a new sand bucket set for Zoe. You spoil her, Shayna said, accepting her coffee with a kiss. I spoil both of you. Get used to it. He grinned, then scooped Zoe up. Ready for the beach, Zoe Bear? Ready. They drove to Folly Beach, found a spot near the water, and spent the morning building sandcastles and chasing waves. Cameron was fearless with Zoe, lifting her over waves, burying her feet in sand, making her giggle until she hiccuped. Shayna watched them together and felt her heart expand. During Zoe's nap under the beach umbrella, Cameron pulled Shayna close. I need to tell you something, he said quietly. Her stomach tightened. Okay. I talked to my parents this morning. Had the conversation I should have had years ago. About us. About everything. About how my mother's been interfering in my relationships, about her classist attitudes, about boundaries. He squeezed her hand. I told them you're the woman I'm going to marry. That they can be part of our lives respectfully, or they can miss out. Their choice. Shayna's breath caught. What did they say? My dad apologized immediately. Said he's been too passive, letting mom control things. He wants to get to know you properly. Invited us to dinner next weekend if you're comfortable. And your mother? Cameron's jaw tightened. She's processing. But I made it clear, you and Zoe are my priority. Not her approval. She'll come around or she won't, but either way, we're moving forward. Cameron, I don't want to come between you and your family. You're not. She is. By being unreasonable. He cupped her face. Shayna, you need to understand something. I spent years trying to please my mother, dating women she approved of, living the life she wanted for me. And I was miserable. You make me happy. You make me want to be better. I'm not giving that up for anyone. Tears pricked her eyes. I love you so much. I love you too. Which is why I want to talk about something. He took a breath. That nursing degree you mentioned. I did some research. Charleston Southern has an accelerated program. You could have your RN in 18 months. Cameron. Hear me out. I know you're worried about money and childcare and time. So here's what I'm proposing. I'll cover tuition and expenses. You cut back to part-time at the hospital. I'll hire someone to help with Zoe, not replace you, just support. In 18 months, you'll have a degree, better job prospects, and more financial independence. Shayna pulled back. That's too much. It's an investment. In you. In our future. He held her gaze. I know your pride is screaming right now. But Shayna, this isn't charity. This is me investing in the woman I love so she can reach her full potential. Think of it as a loan if that makes you feel better. You can pay me back when you're making nurse money. Why would you do this? Because I believe in you. Because you're brilliant and capable and the only thing holding you back is circumstance. He brushed a tear from her cheek. Let me help you change your circumstances. Please. Shayna looked at Zoe, sleeping peacefully. She thought about her mama, who'd always dreamed Shayna would finish school. About breaking the cycle of financial struggle. About giving Zoe a better example. What if I fail? You won't. But if you struggle, I'll be there. We'll figure it out together. This is a big decision. I know. Think about it. No pressure. But Shayna, you deserve this chance. Let yourself have it. That afternoon, back at her apartment, Shayna pulled out her laptop and looked at the nursing program. The application deadline was in 2 weeks. She could start in the fall semester. Her phone rang. Keisha. So, how was the beach? Perfect. And Kuish. Cameron wants to pay for me to go back to school. Nursing degree. Silence. Then, and you're calling me instead of filling out that application because it feels like too much. Because I should do it on my own. Girl, stop. You've been doing everything on your own since Derek left. Since your mama died. You've been drowning trying to keep your head above water. Someone's throwing you a life raft. Grab it. But what if? What if nothing? What if you let yourself be loved? What if you let someone help you build a better life? What if you stop punishing yourself for needing support? After they hung up, Shayna stared at the application. Zoe toddled over, climbed into her lap. Mama, working? Mama's thinking about school. About becoming a nurse. Nurse help people? Yeah, baby. Nurses help people feel better. Mama help people. Zoe clapped. Out of the mouths of babes. Shayna opened the application and started typing. That evening, Cameron came over with dinner. Nothing fancy, just Chinese takeout and time together. While Zoe colored at the coffee table, Shayna showed him her laptop. I started the application. His face lit up. Yeah. I'm still scared. Still worried I'm taking too much. But I want this. For me, and for Zoe. I'm so proud of you. He kissed her softly. You're going to be an amazing nurse. I haven't gotten in yet. You will. And when you do, we'll celebrate properly. After Zoe went to bed, they curled up on the couch together. Cameron's arms around her, her head on his chest, feeling safe in a way she'd never felt before. Can I ask you something? Shayna said quietly. Anything. When did you know that you loved me? He was quiet for a moment. That first photo you sent. Of Zoe with her formula, grinning at the camera. I looked at this happy baby and thought about her mother, struggling, scared, but still making sure her daughter smiled. I knew then that I wanted to know the woman who could do that. Who could find joy in the hardest circumstances. He kissed her hair. I fell in love with your strength first. Everything else just made me fall deeper. I fell in love with your kindness, Shayna admitted. The way you helped without expecting anything back. The way you saw me as a person, not a problem to fix. You're the best person I know. I'm really not. You are. You're raising an incredible little girl while working full-time and dealing with grief and financial stress. You're doing the work of 3 people, Shayna. And you're doing it with grace. She tilted her head up to kiss him. Thank you. For seeing me. For believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Always. That's my job now, believing in you until you believe in yourself. The following week moved quickly. Shayna submitted her nursing application. Cameron arranged for her to cut to part-time hours at the hospital, and quietly covered the income difference, which Shayna accepted after only minor arguing. He also introduced her to Elena, a warm grandmother type who'd help with Zoe during Shayna's classes and study time. On Friday, Robert Hayes called and invited them to dinner. Just him and Cameron's father, no Patricia. She needs more time, Robert explained. But I'd like to get to know you and Zoe properly. No pressure, no judgment. Just family getting to know family. Dinner at the Hayes home, a beautiful historic house in the Battery, was surprisingly wonderful. Robert was warm and funny, asking genuine questions about Shayna's life and work. He was patient with Zoe, didn't mind when she spilled juice, and had clearly prepared by having toys and kids' books available. My son's happy for the first time in years, Robert said as they sat on the back porch while Zoe played in the yard. I can't thank you enough for that. He makes me happy too, Shayna said. Happier than I thought possible. Patricia will come around. She's stubborn, but she loves Cameron. Once she sees how good you are together, she'll accept it. And if she doesn't? Robert smiled. Then she'll miss out on knowing a wonderful woman and her beautiful daughter. Her loss. On the drive home, Cameron reached for Shayna's hand. That went well. Your dad's great. Zoe loved him. He loved her too. Did you see him teaching her to identify birds? He was in heaven. Cameron glanced at her. You okay? I know it was a lot. I'm good. Really good, actually. She squeezed his hand. I'm starting to believe this might actually work. Us. All of it. It's going to work. I promise. That night, after Zoe was asleep, Cameron lingered at the door. Stay, Shayna said impulsively. Not for, just stay. Sleep on the couch. I just want you here. His smile was soft. I'd love that. They talked until midnight, curled up together on her worn couch, making plans for the future. When Cameron was going to meet Shayna's extended family. When they might take a trip together. Maybe Disney World for Zoe. What kind of wedding they each imagined someday. Small, Shayna said. Intimate. Just people who really matter. I'd marry you at City Hall if that's what you wanted, Cameron said. As long as at the end of it, you're my wife. Your wife, Shayna repeated, testing the words. Shayna Hayes. Has a nice ring to it. She looked at him, this man who'd stumbled into her life through a wrong number and changed everything. Ask me, she whispered. What? Ask me. Now. I know it's fast and probably crazy, but ask me, Cameron. His eyes widened. Shayna. I love you. I want forever with you. I want Zoe to have your name, for us to be a real family. I'm tired of being scared. So ask me. Cameron sat up, pulled her to face him, and took both her hands. I don't have a ring. I don't care. Shayna Collins. His voice shook. Will you marry me? Will you let me be Zoe's father and your husband? Will you build a life with me? Yes. Tears streamed down her face. Yes, yes, yes. He kissed her, deep and passionate and full of promise. When they finally pulled apart, both were crying. I'm getting you a ring tomorrow, he said, laughing through tears. The biggest, most beautiful ring. I don't need big. I just need you. You have me. Forever. You and Zoe both. They held each other in her tiny apartment, engaged, planning a future that had seemed impossible just months ago. Outside, Charleston settled into night. Inside, two people who'd found each other through the most unlikely circumstances built dreams out of love and hope and the courage to believe in second chances. Have you ever taken a leap of faith that changed your life? What made you finally say yes to something scary? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. 3 months later, the morning of the wedding arrived with golden September sunshine streaming through the windows of Cameron's house overlooking Charleston Harbor. Shayna stood in the master bedroom, looking at herself in the full-length mirror. The dress was simple, ivory lace with a flowing skirt, nothing like the elaborate gowns she'd seen in magazines. But it was perfect. She was perfect. Mama pretty, Zoe announced, bouncing on the bed in her flower girl dress, pale pink with a tulle skirt that made her look like a princess. You're pretty too, baby girl. Shayna adjusted Zoe's ribbon. You ready to throw flowers? Ready. A knock at the door, and Claire poked her head in. Can I come in? Of course. Cameron's sister entered, holding a small box. You look absolutely stunning, Shayna. Thank you. For everything, helping plan this, being so welcoming. Stop. You're family now. Officially. Claire smiled. I brought you something. Well, someone left it for you. She handed Shayna the box. Inside was a delicate pearl bracelet and a note in elegant handwriting. Shayna, these belonged to Cameron's grandmother. She wore them on her wedding day, as did I. I'd be honored if you'd wear them on yours. Welcome to the family. Patricia. Shayna's eyes filled with tears. She's here. Downstairs. With Dad. And half of Charleston, actually. Cameron may have said small wedding, but his definition and yours are apparently different. Claire helped her fasten the bracelet. She's been trying, you know. Mom. She's just not good at admitting when she's wrong. This is her admitting it. In her language, yes. Claire squeezed her hand. You're good for him, Shayna. You make my brother human again. Happy. That's all any of us really want. 20 minutes later, Shayna stood at the top of the staircase in their home, looking down at the gathering below. Cameron had been right. Small had somehow become 75 people. But they were the right people. Keisha and her kids, Brittany and other cousins, Robert and Patricia, Claire's family, Cameron's business partners who'd become genuine friends, neighbors, people from church. And at the bottom of the stairs, standing under an arch of white roses, was Cameron. He looked up, and the expression on his face took her breath away. Pure love. Pure joy. Like she was the only person in the world. The music started, a string quartet playing something soft and beautiful. Zoe went first, taking her flower girl duties very seriously, dropping petals with careful concentration. The guests laughed warmly. Then it was Shayna's turn. She walked down alone, no father to give her away, but she didn't need one. She was giving herself, freely, joyfully, to the man waiting for her. Cameron's eyes never left hers. When she reached him, he took her hands, and she felt his trembling. Hi, he whispered. Hi yourself. The officiant, a friend of Cameron's, smiled at them. Dearly beloved, we gather today to witness the union of Cameron and Shayna. But before we begin, the couple has asked to say their own vows. Cameron took a shaky breath. Shayna, 5 months ago, you sent me a text by mistake. You were asking for help, scared and desperate, and something in that message grabbed my heart and never let go. His voice caught. You could have been just another charity case, another person asking for money. But from that first conversation, I knew you were different. You were real. You were struggling but still fighting. You were scared but still brave. And I fell in love with that woman, the one who would do anything for her daughter, who worked harder than anyone I'd ever met, who had every reason to be bitter but still found joy. Tears streamed down Shayna's face. You made me believe in love again. In family. In building something that matters more than money or success, or any of the things I thought were important. He squeezed her hands. Today, I'm promising you forever. I'm promising to be Zoe's father, to love her like my own. I'm promising to support your dreams, to celebrate your victories, to hold you through the hard times. I'm promising to choose you, every single day, for the rest of my life. Shayna could barely see through her tears. Cameron, I spent so long being scared. Scared to need anyone, scared to trust, scared to believe good things could happen to me. When I texted you that night, I was at my lowest point. Broken. Desperate. And you saw me, really saw me, and you didn't look away. She took a shaky breath. You showed me what love looks like. Not just words, but actions. Showing up. Being patient. Believing in me even when I didn't believe in myself. You loved my daughter before you even met her. You fought for us when I was too scared to fight for myself. And you waited. You waited for me to be brave enough to love you back. Cameron wiped tears from his eyes. Today, I'm done being scared. I'm choosing you, choosing us, choosing this beautiful life we're building together. I'm promising to trust you, to let you help me, to be your partner in every way. I'm promising to love you through the easy times and the hard ones. And I'm promising that our daughter, she glanced at Zoe, who was playing with flower petals, will grow up knowing what real love looks like. Because she'll see it every day in how we love each other. The officiant cleared his throat, clearly emotional. The rings. Claire handed Cameron a simple gold band. He slid it onto Shayna's finger. With this ring, I thee wed. Robert handed Shayna Cameron's ring. She'd insisted on buying it herself, saving from her part-time paychecks. It wasn't expensive, but it was hers to give. She slid it on his finger. With this ring, I thee wed. By the power vested in me by the state of South Carolina, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Cameron, you may kiss your bride. He pulled her close, kissed her deeply, and the room erupted in applause. When they pulled apart, both were crying and laughing. Mrs. Hayes, Cameron whispered. Mr. Hayes, she whispered back. Zoe ran up and hugged their legs. Mama, Cameron. Cameron scooped her up. Not just Cameron anymore, Zoe Bear. I'm Daddy now. Is that okay? Zoe nodded enthusiastically. Daddy. The three of them stood there, a family, officially, finally, while their loved ones cheered. The reception was perfect. Dancing on the back lawn overlooking the harbor, food from Shayna's favorite restaurants, toasts that made everyone laugh and cry. Robert welcomed Shayna officially into the family. Even Patricia approached, stiff but sincere, and said, Welcome, dear. I hope you'll be very happy. It was progress. It was enough. As the sun set over Charleston Harbor, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, Cameron and Shayna slipped away from the party for a moment alone. Happy? He asked, pulling her close. Deliriously. You. I've never been happier in my life. He kissed her forehead. Thank you for saying yes. To all of it. Thank you for asking. For waiting. For loving us. They stood watching the sunset, and Shayna thought about that desperate night 5 months ago when she'd texted a wrong number asking for baby formula. How lost she'd been. How scared. How everything had changed with one message. What are you thinking? Cameron asked. That I texted the right number after all. It just looked wrong at first. He laughed. Best wrong number ever. Best wrong number ever, she agreed. Epilogue. 1 year later. Shayna Hayes, RN, adjusted her new scrubs and looked at herself in the mirror. 6 months ago, she'd graduated from nursing school, top of her class. 3 months ago, she'd started working in the pediatric ward at Charleston Regional. And yesterday, the adoption papers had been finalized. Zoe Hayes was officially Cameron's daughter. Mama. Daddy. Baby crying. Shayna smiled and went to the nursery where their 3-month-old son, Joshua, was waking from his nap. Cameron was already there, lifting him gently. I've got him. You're going to be late for your shift. She kissed Cameron, then the baby. Thank you. Zoe, be good for Daddy, okay? Okay, Mama. At the hospital, Shayna walked through the pediatric ward with confidence. Her patients loved her. She had a gift with scared kids and worried parents. She understood what it meant to be afraid, to need help, to hope for better days. During her lunch break, she got a text from Cameron. Zoe wants to know if we can get a puppy. I told her we'd discuss it. By which I mean I already found 3 we should look at this weekend. I have no willpower when she uses those eyes. Help. See. Shayna laughed, typing back. You're hopeless. But yes, let's look at puppies. Our family could use a dog. Our family. I'll never get tired of hearing that. Love you, Mrs. Hayes. See. Love you too, Mr. Hayes. Forever and always. She finished her shift and drove home, not to the cramped North Charleston apartment, but to the house on the harbor. Their home. Where Cameron was teaching Zoe to ride her new bike in the driveway, and Joshua slept peacefully in his carrier on the porch. Where family dinner was loud and chaotic and perfect. Where every night, Shayna fell asleep in Cameron's arms and woke up grateful. That evening, after the kids were asleep, they sat on the back porch watching boats drift by. Remember when you thought we were from different worlds? Cameron asked. I was an idiot. You were scared. There's a difference. He pulled her closer. But look at us now. Same world. Same team. Same forever. Best forever ever, Shayna murmured. Somewhere in North Charleston, Shayna's old apartment complex still stood. The laundry room at Regional Medical still hummed with industrial washers. Life went on for people still struggling, still fighting, still hoping for their own wrong numbers that turn out right. But here, in a house overlooking Charleston Harbor, a family had been built from a mistake. A text sent to the wrong number. A billionaire who saw a person, not a problem. A single mother who found the courage to believe in love. And a little girl who got the father she deserved. Some mistakes, it turns out, are meant to be. Some wrong numbers lead you exactly where you're supposed to go. And some love stories begin with 5 simple words. Can I get some help? The answer, Shayna had learned, was always yes. When you find the right person, the answer is always yes. The end. What's the biggest wrong number moment in your life? A mistake that turned into a blessing? How did taking a chance on something unexpected change your path? Share your story below. And if this story touched your heart, let me know what part resonated most with you. I love hearing from you.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. It truly means a lot to me. If this video touched your heart or resonated with you in any way, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to Emotional Voyage. Your support helps us reach more souls on this journey. Until next time, take care of your heart.